I'm a 1980 computer science graduate from Indiana University who joined IBM, added an MBA from New York University, and 20 years later was the CFO of IBM's software business. Today I run two businesses. One is Neral Associates LLC, which is a consulting business for private equity firms and public companies. And the second is the Neral Family Farm LLC. The important part about that is a few years ago I stole acorns from the oak grove, planted them on the farm, and now in northeast Pennsylvania there are IUP oaks growing on the farm. The fundamental knowledge I joined at IUP through interacting with the professors and students here in the computer science organization was the ability to think logically and sequentially, to approach a problem and dissect it into steps and form the opinion of what needed to be done step by step so as to solve that problem in an organized way. Advances in technology in various aspects have been changing the world for centuries, but the advent of the computer over the last few decades has been changing the American lifestyle. In that environment, it's really important to have people with the knowledge and experience of those technologies to make sure that the forces that we are unleashing on society, both positive and negative, are understood and can be managed well. In the high-strung world of technology and serving as the chief financial officer, integrity comes before everything else. I always tell my team, performance is important, but it's integrity first and performance second. So from my perspective, having left in 1980, I'm just thrilled that someone in the university would think enough to find me, give this recognition to me. It means the world to me. One of the things that all alumni can do, and particularly the distinguished alumni can do for our students and our faculty, is help them stay connected not only with each other, but with the firms that we deal with day in and day out.
It is my honor to present the 2018 Distinguished Alumni Award to Charles Neral.
Well, that is heavy. Well, many thanks. First of all, to President Driscoll, to Dean Snavely for writing such a wonderful recommendation, to my friend, Dr. Francisco Alacron, who is, has the same passion for teaching that I have for business and technology. I call him the pepper in the pot, and I think we like things a little spicy in Guatemala. You don't get to a point like this without stepping back and saying, now, how did this happen? Well, for me, it comes back to three fatherly insights, three pieces of information I got from my dad. To put it in perspective, he was born in 1918 in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. He went through the Great Depression as a teenager, and he turned out he could be a crusty guy at times. So the first piece of fatherly advice was this. He said, I pay taxes in Pennsylvania, so I've already paid for your education. And you can choose any one of the Pennsylvania state schools to attend, but I'm not paying for a private university. Okay, Dad. I signed up with Penn State and IUP. And for a long while, I thought about an engineering degree at Penn State. And that's when I got the second piece of fatherly advice, and it went like this. You'd be a terrible engineer. You can't even figure out how to lay out your bedroom. You should go into business, as if for some reason business is less than engineering, which I don't understand. And so I signed up in business for at least one semester until I switched into computer science. And then came the third piece of advice, and that went like this. You should go to IUP. Your sister went to IUP. She got a good education. You should go to IUP. So somewhere out there, who I can't see for these lights, Nancy Neral Gabster is a 1976 applied math major. She married Jim Gabster, who's a townie. He's also the cousin of John Kopchik. Jim is a 1975 economics major. They married, lived in Indiana, Jim working at FMC, Nancy at McCreary Tire. Those are still around somewhere, I think. And they both progressed to get their masters here in business. And Nancy was actually an adjunct professor for a while. And when Dad said this, go to IUP, this 17-year-old thought that was brilliant because I could get a good education that Dad would pay for, and if I played my cards right, I actually might get a few hot meals out of my much older sister. And that's really about all a 17-year-old needs, frankly. So I came to IUP. And it was literally the first week of class as I was walking back from church. We were preparing for the service with guitars and singing, and here came this pretty young blonde. She walked up to me, and I'm there with my long hair, which I still miss, and my and my 12-string guitar. And here's this woman who actually wants to talk to me. And I thought, my gosh, this college thing is looking up. Well, that was over 40 years ago. She's been my wife for 36 years. She's given us 2 fine sons. She's pushed me to do things I didn't want to do, like move the family to Tokyo. And there's a whole nother story around that. I think we really need to talk about distinguished couples because there's so many people here who have met their wife. And so Patricia Rose's Neral is also there. What you see from this is IUP is not simply where I got an education. It's where I met my wife. Through the Christian groups on campus, it's where we strengthened our faith. It's where we learned to study hard to achieve what we both achieved. She actually spent 33 years at IBM HR, and at the end was running the global resource systems. So Susan, we have GARP. It's called Generally Accepted Resource Principles. It's how you count 400,000 people every month with enough integrity that you can put those numbers in your annual report. She does the emerging issues, the old issues, the new issues. If there's an issue, she's the one that had it. IUP is the place, as you can see, where the foundations of our lives were laid. And so you have no idea how much this means to me, but I thank you very much.